DOW. Dits on Wrestling.
Hello and welcome to the Dits on Wrestling podcast, and today this is a bonus episode. I never do these things, but such was the occasion of the subject matter of today's episode that I just couldn't help myself. Last night was NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff. I was there live and it was absolutely fantastic, and across the board it seems to be pretty unanimous that, you know, people seem to think it was a great show, maybe even the best on that whole weekend, which is a pretty tough task considering you had New Japan's show Royal Quest and AEW's All Out, which I haven't watched yet. I haven't watched either of those yet, but I'm hearing they were equally as great as well. But obviously I'm biased because I went to NXT UK TakeOver, and that's the only one I've watched, so for me that is the best of the weekend, but I can't really reserve judgment until I've seen the other offerings. But that's not why we're here. We're not here to talk about the other two. We're here to talk about NXT UK, and I'm so glad that I decided to go live. It was a last minute decision, like I said back in episode 18 when I was previewing the show. It really was. It was just like, should I go? Shouldn't I go? And there just happened to be a few tickets left. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And the ticket that I did have wasn't too bad. I mean, like I said before, the Motor Point Arena is it's perfect for seeing absolutely everything you need to. Nobody is like ridiculously far away from the ring. So everything that's going on, you can more or less see it. There was some issues, but we'll get into that with regards to being able to see stuff. But apart from that, great seats. And if anything, before we even get into the matches side of things, I just want to say how awesome the crowd were. Like, the atmosphere in that building was something I have never experienced before. It was insane. Like, we were hot from start to finish. There was maybe a slight lull towards the back end of the show, from the last man standing to, you know, the women's championship match. And to be honest, I don't think it's because of the quality of those matches. I think it was because we were so exhausted from that that triple threat tag team match. Like, we were on fire for that thing. That was incredible. So there was a little bit of a lull, but we turned up for the main event. Boy, did we ever turn up for the main event. Constantly vocal for that. And the fact that Triple H has acknowledged it, whoever runs Vince McMahon's official Twitter account also acknowledged it. It wasn't him himself, let's be honest. It's been noticed that Cardiff is an insane crowd. And we also get to see live tapings there. Today and tomorrow, I believe. So they'll obviously air in the near future on NXT UK. But before the show even began, we had 2 matches taped for next week's NXT UK show. And I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not in that game, but it's going to be good. The 2 matches that were taped, wow. One I really wasn't expecting, but one I think, you know, is an obvious one because it didn't make the takeover card. But, you know, both were very, very enjoyable, and both the crowd were, again, massively into it. But the main card itself, everyone kind of slept on this one because, well, before the show anyway, they were kind of like, is this going to be even, you know, worth the price of admission, just this match alone? But Noam Dar versus Trevor Banks was actually really, really good. It exceeded expectations, and like both guys really, really went for it. And I think they kind of maybe knew that they were, you know, maybe the least anticipated match on the card, but, you know, they definitely brought it, and it turned out to be a solid opener. You know, usually in the land of NXT, you know, NXT proper anyway, they start off with a tag title match, and, well, if the NXT UK started off with the tag title match that we had, then wow, you couldn't maybe have started the show any better than that. However, I think starting with Travis and Noam Dar was not actually that bad of a decision. It was a really good match. The crowd were into it. The right person won for me. I am a Noam Dar fan, and I think he benefits from the win a little bit more than Travis Banks. But it really could have gone either way, and whoever ended up winning, I don't think we would have had any complaints about it. It was hard hitting in places, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun. It was a really good way to open the show, and no complaints from me. No complaints from me. Then we heard, we knew Cesaro was going to be showing up in some capacity to NXT UK, saying he was going to be hands-on. And then the day of the event, he said he was actually going to issue an open challenge. Now, I expected Cesaro to come out to the ring first, but he didn't. His opponent came out first, and it wasn't who I was expecting, because I thought it was going to be Jordan Devlin, because he wasn't on the card. He's been pushing, to get a little bit, higher up the card. That's what I would have preferred. I would have preferred Cesaro versus Jordan Devlin, definitely. However, Ilya Dragunov came down to the ring instead. Got a pretty decent pop, and he came down to the ring and basically called out Cesaro. And then from there, we had a really, really good match. And that match itself actually earned the first Vince McMahon chant, "Vince, are you watching?" Or is it listening? I can't remember. I was too sucked into it. But it was a really, really good match. A really good showcase for Cesaro, of course, the more experienced of the two. But Dragunov did his fair share. There was a few times in the match that I actually thought he had it, but Cesaro hit the trademark uppercut into the neutralizer and then picked up the win. But I think the highlight for many was the Cesaro swing that went on for 40 seconds. Or 40 swings, whichever way you want to look at it. That is incredible. I thought, whilst he was doing it, we're going to get to 12. Then we went past 12, and I thought, he's going to stick to 20. Went past 20, then 30. I was like, this is insane. How Dragunov can compete, or even Cesaro can compete after this, I don't know. But he hit 40, and Jesus. so very impressive. After the match, there was a nice little show of respect as well from Cesaro. But give me Cesaro in NXT UK on a more permanent basis. Like, they treat him like a star, which he is. He just doesn't get that opportunity on the main roster. So I will welcome you with open arms in NXT UK, Cesaro. Means a lot coming from this lowly podcaster. And then we had the tag team triple threat match for the NXT UK Tag Team Championships with Grizzled Young Vets, Galas, and Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. And whoa, before I saw the main event, I actually thought that nothing was going to touch this. I always look at these triple threat tag team matches, and when they start, I'd be like, oh, right, okay, it's, free tag, just make it a tornado. Just make it a tornado tag and do it that way. But it never starts off that way. It's all, two teams trying to tag each other in, blah, blah, blah. So I wasn't into it massively when it started. Despite the fact, obviously Cardiff and Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster is their hometown. So, the crowd were massive behind them. So I was into it, like, in that respect, but it was I don't know what it was, but then all of a sudden it just literally just ramped up like 6 gears, and then it went into the kind of tornado tag like frenzy, where the referee just kind of goes, you know what, screw it, just crack on, lads. And there were so many near falls and, moments when we thought, the Grizzled Young Vets are going to take it, and now Galas are going to take it, and they kept teasing the Andrews Webster win, and it just wasn't happening. And after a couple of times of it, shooting star presses or 450s, and we were kind of like the stunners that Andrews brought out. It was kind of like, nah, this is it's not going to be their night, because everyone kept kicking out or breaking up the pins. So I actually thought from that moment we were going to get a Gibson Drake win, but hey, that didn't happen. We had such an amazing pop for Andrews and Webster winning that match, and wow, it went on for ages as well. We were exhausted from it was some guy two seats down from me kept tapping his buddy on the shoulder and saying, that was sick. And he said it so many times, and he wasn't wrong. It was absolutely amazing. I'd go as far to say that it's probably my favorite tag team match of the year across any promotion. It was that good. So many great spots, and a nice little story told as well. So, and it was a feel-good finish as well. So you can't complain. Then we had the last man standing match between Bomber Dave Mastiff and Joe Coffey. I would comment more on this match if I could actually have seen most of it. But as soon as the ropes obviously bust, which was pretty cool. But let's take a peek behind the curtain here. I don't know if the network saw it. I doubt it, because there probably was a video package playing or something. But you saw the refs coming down to the ring, and they were tinkering with the ropes. Now, I actually, at the time, just thought, maybe they're just tightening them up. But it turns out they were, rigging it for an implosion, as it were. So the ropes bust, and then the action spilled out of the ring. But from where I was sitting, we couldn't see a thing. So I actually popped the group of fans behind me, because I saw sense, and I just flashed up the network. There was a little bit of a delay, but I had the network, and I had everybody watching my phone, asking to put the brightness up so they could see it. Because there was stuff going on down there, like the cricket bat spots, table spots that we were just missing. We just couldn't see them. So we were able to replay that on my mobile. So. Then the action spilled out to the crowd, and then they put the video up on the ramp on the screen up there, so we could actually see what was going on from this point. And then it just kind of built from there. A little bit of action in the crowd, a table spot which was pretty hard hitting, but surprisingly it didn't break. Must be like reinforced with concrete or something. And then they climbed up to the little press area where all the commentators were, like, prior to the show, like doing some promo stuff, and they went tumbling off that, and Joe Coffey managed to get up for the win. And it was kind of anticlimactic. Nobody really knew what had happened. Everyone kind of thought it was a double count out, but then we saw Joe Coffey, his arm raised, and then the amazing Galas theme started blaring out in the arena. It was a good match from what I saw. Most of it on the network. But there was some good spots and stuff like that, but I think the finish was a little bit off. But it was still decent. It was a good last man standing match. There was some nice little spots, but the fact that I couldn't see most of it, yeah. I can't really pass that much judgment on it. Then we had Toni Storm versus Kaylee Ray. Really good build leading into the match, but the match itself, very, very short. It kind of just finished. It was good. Don't get me wrong, it was good, but I don't know. It was just kind of an abrupt thing. It was impressive the way that Kaylee Ray, picked up the win. She slammed Toni onto the ropes, picked her up again, slammed her down. I don't know what a finisher is called. Whatever that thing is. And then, picked up the win. Knew NXT UK Women's Champion. I was happy either way. This maybe frees up Tony Storm to go up to NXT, prior to moving to USA Network. Maybe that's the plan. I don't know. There's plenty of women down there. We've got a really good division forming up. But I was surprised. A lot of people were surprised. Everyone was kind of like, what? There's a lot looking around. Like, nobody really knew how to react to it. But I think people accepted it. Towards the back end of the celebrations towards the end of the match, and it was what it was. It was a good match, but it could have been a lot better. But there were some cool spots, so there was something definitely to take from it. And to be fair, I wouldn't say it was the bathroom break. I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form. It was just nice that we had that match. That wasn't, absolutely insane. That we got to save up some energy for the main event. Volta versus Tyler Bate for the United Kingdom Championship. And I'm just going to say 4 words. Match of the year. It truly, truly is match of the year across any promotion. I don't know whether it's just because I was live and I was feeding off the crowd. I was into it massively from start to finish. It was fucking incredible. It really was. I'll have to watch it back on the network just to see how it came across on there. But from what I saw, it was insane. Insane. Like, Tyler Bate straight away was, gained the upper hand over Volta, which, surprised me. And then, obviously, Volta dominated for a large portion of the match. And then Tyler Bate's come back. And, all the times he was kicking out of Volta's best stuff. And then a brutal clothesline at the end is what ended the match. But, oh, boy. It was exhausting. Honestly, it was exhausting. Everyone was standing on the feet like, this is it, Tyler Driver, here we go, bang, hits it, and then it was like, near fall, and it was a roller coaster of emotion going on in that match. And Tyler Bate, if you weren't a fan of Tyler Bate before this match, then you should be now. And if you weren't a fan of Volta's brutality, like, he's a brutal bastard. Some of the stuff that he was doing, like, looked rough from where I was, and it was incredible. Like, it was just the perfect match. I don't know what you could have added to it to make it any better. If I had a star rating, which I don't, but I will for this match, I would give it 5 stars. It was so good. Where Tyler Bate goes from here remains to be seen. Hopefully, he stays around in NXT UK. Pete Dunne's gone up to NXT proper now, so we need 2 of the British Strong Style boys to stay down there, with Trent as well. Volta will, obviously go on and find another credible challenger for his title, but I think you're going to struggle to find a match this year that gets anywhere near Volta versus Tyler Bate. Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable. But that was the show. That was the show, and I am so glad I went to see it in the flesh. It would have been amazing to watch on the network, don't get me wrong. All the feedback that I've got from people that did have said, it was incredible, and, you could tell how good the crowd was just, by watching it live on TV. But actually being there and seeing that event, I mean, this is my first, pay-per-view of sorts. This is my first special event in wrestling that I've gone to see, and as a first, to break my pay-per-view virginity, if it was, I couldn't have asked for anything better than this. Incredible stuff. So the whole show itself, I'd give 4.5 stars, because it had that lull, and the last man standing match, I couldn't really see it, so I'd give it 4.5 stars. But there you go. That was my, kind of thoughts, maybe review, however you want to take it, on NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff. You got a cheeky little bonus episode. I never do these things, so consider yourselves lucky, guys, or not. My one listener will, be thrilled to hear this, but any additionals that, tag along with him, that's a bonus. It's a bonus to me and it's a bonus for you. So there you go. But that's it. Whoa, before we go in, I got to plug myself. Here. I can't forget that shit. So you can find me on social media, at Twitter. At Twitter? That doesn't make any sense. This has turned into a shambles. This is why I don't do bonus episodes. You can find me on Twitter at Dits on Wrestling, and that's the same for Instagram as well. Podcast-wise, you're listening to it, so you've already found it. But if you want to listen to it in other places, it's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker as part of the SLTV Podcast Network, and iHeartRadio. It's on iHeartRadio now as well, so go check that out. But apart from that, guys, thank you very much for listening, and I will see you on Thursday for episode 19 of the Dits on Wrestling podcast, and we have another guest lined up, and it's going to be pretty fun. It's musical, so there's a little hint for you. Nice little musical guest. But no, thank you very much for taking time out. What a weekend of wrestling. We are blessed as wrestling fans. See you on Thursday. Ciao, ciao.